Then let's hurry.
Keep your eyes wide open.
Don't disappoint me.
The hunt begins!
Just what will we come across this time?
This place gives Paimon the creeps. Who knows what we're gonna find up ahead? The digging marks here appear amateur and rather old. I suspect it is a thieves' tunnel. A thieves' tunnel? Paimon has heard rumors about treasure around these parts before. Maybe it was the treasure hoarders that dug this tunnel.
Judging by the tools they left behind, it's certainly a possibility. But why did they abandon this place without even stopping to pack up their tools?
I remember now. She took me here once and told me that she'd found a way to save me in this cave. But she said that the method would cause me to, curses! Why can't I remember what she said?
Easy, Jialiang. Come on, let's keep going.
Look at you, Boozound! Think you can bully me?
Oz, reveal thyself! Don't waste my time. Your life is mine. Give up. Shadow Raven, let night fall.
Whoa, there's a sensor here. Those treasure hoarders sure made themselves at home.
I believe this sensor was used to burn a monster-repelling incense.
A monster repelling incense? You sure? 'Cause we did run into that group of monsters just now.
The incense was burned several days ago. If I had to guess, the monsters we fought just now were enticed here by some entity deeper inside the cave. No doubt an encounter with the very same entity was what prompted the treasure hoarders to flee and abandon their designs on this cave. After them, Jiang Li was the next person to discover this place and what lies inside. But to her, it presented an opportunity to save Jia Liang's life, albeit as a last resort.
That's right. This sensor, it belongs to Jiang Li. Yes, this was the place. This is where I told Jiang Li to give me the poison. I'm fine. Let's keep going. I can feel it. She is right below us, waiting for me. can feel it. We're getting close. We're almost there. It's right up ahead. The place where we made a pact together to...
We can keep going now.
From the looks of it, the energy released by this mechanism can not only clear barriers, but also be conducted by corresponding mechanisms. Perhaps it's something we can make use of.
Yeah!
Mind the side effects.
The doctor will see you. Can't handle your drink.
It's not.
Scatter!
Let's go.
Seems like an emergency.
Propagate! Germinate!
Don't waste my time. Submit!
By royal decree. Midnight Phantasmagoria. Shaken and stirred. Look at you, booze hound.
Your life is mine.
Remember, health comes first. Mind the side effects.
Jiangli!
Look out! There's a monster next to her!
The god remains must have lured them here. Watch my back.
Oz, revealed by...
Think you can bully me?
Taking a turn for the better.
Diana Special!
Wings of darkness! Come, sever night from dead! It's nothing. I summon...
Yeah!
Submit!
Dr. Baiju, how serious is it? Is she...
I can still feel a pulse, but her condition is quite grave. The god remains here are encroaching on her cognition, much as the poison in your system did to you. If we don't eliminate it soon, then even if we save her life, I fear that she may never wake up again.
Then what are we waiting for? Let's destroy the remains right away! It's not as simple as that. Don't you remember what Baiju said? The poison within Jialiang's body is inextricably linked to the god remains here. If the source is purged, the poison in his system will stop having any effect. And the poison within Jialiang's body is keeping his heart condition under control. So, if it stops working... Oh no. Are you saying...
Indeed. If the god remains here are purged, then your life will come to an end.
I wondered when this day might come.
Wait! But we've all been working our butts off to save Jialiang's life! After all that, we can't just give up on him! Baiju, you're a great doctor! Surely you gotta know of some other way we can save him, right?
You could continue to take the poison, which would buy you some time. As for Jiangli, maybe if we put our heads together, we can think of something?
It appears to me that she was striving to concoct your medicine for you, right up until the moment when she lost consciousness. Maybe it's her greatest wish that you will continue to take it and live.
Dr. Baiju, give it to me straight. How long does Jiangli have?
The god remains have reached her internal organs. Under ordinary circumstances, I would give her less than 3 days. But if I were to treat her using a secret art...
But what would be the point of that? Dr. Baiju, I'm all too aware of the dangers of god remains. You are not the first to mention it to me. If I continue to sustain my own life using this wretched substance, not only would Jiangli have to keep risking her life to make my medicine for me, but I would have to live with the looming threat of these remains breaking out and wreaking havoc not just upon me, but my entire family. I know for a fact that I should have died over a decade ago. The fact that I've been around to see IU grow up is already a great blessing from Rex Lapis. If my choice can bring Jiangli back, then even if I die...
Jialiang...
After cheating death for so long, it seems I've grown somewhat addicted to life. Traveler, Dr. Baiju, could I have another minute with my wife? I just want to have one final moment together. Just a moment, that's all.
Of course.
Thank you, everyone. And I'm sorry that I won't be able to repay your kindness in this life.
Jialiang, Baizhu, Changsheng, is there really nothing else you can do?
I am sure that over the years, Jiangli will have tried all the conventional methods known to humankind. As for less conventional methods, I have little expertise besides Changsheng's secret art.
Mortals are fated to grow old and pass on when their natural lifespan runs out. If it were so easy to combat the natural processes of aging and death, Jiangli would not have had to resort to unnatural methods. What a crazy situation! Jiangli risked it all to save Jialiang's life, and now Jialiang has to sacrifice himself to save Jiangli! What's the point of it all?
I've seen many final farewells in my time, but I can never get used to it.
In the human realm, all things must come to an end. Is it not a fitting end to die for a worthy cause? At least, that's what generations of masters before you have always believed.
The path they chose was indeed a heroic one. But when I think of those who would willingly sacrifice themselves for others, I cannot help but think that theirs are the lives least deserving of death.
When all this began, we agreed that once Ayu was old enough to help you gather herbs, it would be time for me to go. If you could only see him now. He took me all the way to Liyue Harbor to see the doctor, and he even got the Adventurers Guild to search for you. So, I know that you'll both be okay without me. I've said my goodbyes. My time has come. Do what you must.
As you wish.
It will eat away at both your cognition and your memories. In the end, you'll become little more than a shadow of your true self.
I'll take it. At the very least, it will allow me to stay with you and watch Ayu grow up.
Mom, something's really wrong with Dad. Don't fret, Ayu. I will gather some medicinal herbs right away. I promise you, nothing will happen to our family.
Why would these memories come to mind now? The longer we live, the tighter we cling to what we have. Oh, how I would love to hear your voice one last time.
Jialiang! 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 Dad, are you awake?
Jiangli, are you? Didn't I... Huh? What are these?
How does it feel to come back to life?
Do you feel strange or different in any way? If so, could you describe it to me in detail?
Dr. Baizhu, I thought that I was going to...
Die? You did indeed. As things stand now, you're more akin to a zombie than a human.
I'm a zombie?
That's right. Before we set off, I asked Chi-Chi to prepare an elixir of immortality. With its help, you have been suspended in the space between life and death. Of course, this is but a crude imitation of an Adeptus art. I don't expect it to extend your life indefinitely. Whether it will keep you alive for a few days, a few months, or a few years, I'm as interested as you to find out. But, however long you have left, I believe it should be more than sufficient time for you to say your final goodbyes before departing the world in peace. I hope that Director Hu finds this arrangement to be a satisfactory one.
An elixir of immortality? How'd you cook that up? Ugh. Leave it to you to work on something like that behind my back.
It's a work in progress that hardly lives up to its name, and it would have had no effect were it not for Jia Liang's iron will. In the end, I am merely a doctor. I understand very little of the great principles governing life and death and the perpetual cycle of yin and yang. All I know is that if I'm presented with a life that deserves to be saved, I will do everything in my power to save them. And even this would have counted for nothing without Director Hu's assistance. After all, did you not tell Jia Liang to show us the way before we set off for Qingsa village?
Oops. And I'm busted.
Without Director Hu nudging things in the right direction, we may not have found Jiangli in time.
No wonder he didn't mention the elixir back then. I thought he was being frank and transparent with me for once, but apparently not.
Director Hu told me to keep her suggestion a secret, but it seems nothing escapes Dr. Baiju's attention.
Never underestimate a serpent's sense of smell.
All I wanted was to help Jia Liang find his missing wife as soon as possible, so that he could be on his way to the afterlife without any unfulfilled wishes making the journey more difficult than it needs to be. Leave it to Boo Boo Pharmacy to snatch the perfect opportunity right out of my hands at the last hurdle. Never mind. I'll just have to put it down in the books as a deferred consideration. One Chi-Chi was enough of a conundrum. The last thing I need's another one. If I'd known this was coming, I'd have whisked him off to the Wangsheng funeral parlor the moment I found him.
You stay away from my dad! When I grow up, I'm gonna become an even better doctor than Mom and Baiju, and cure Dad for good!
Oh, is that right? Well, you wouldn't be the first person who's tried to put Wangsheng funeral parlor out of business. If you're serious about it, you'll have your work cut out for you. Traveler, Paimon, I'll catch you all another time.
Is she finally gone? All's well that ends well. If you ask Paimon, we should probably do something to celebrate this hard-earned family reunion. At times like this, a grand celebratory feast is in order.
It feels like it was a whole lifetime ago when I last talked with Zhongli and Ayu around the dinner table.
Yay! Paimon can't wait! Alright, first things first, off to the market for some fresh ingredients. Let's go!
Wait up! I'll come too!
Baiju, thank you so much for everything you've done for us.
Don't mention it, Jiangli. I was just doing my duty.
Just your duty, huh? Baiju, Changsheng, would you mind if we took this conversation outside?